Here are the updates on commodities. For gold price, gold weekend closed to 1 month lows below 1,785 US dollars an ounce on Thursday, after a rally attempt in the previous session was nipped again by hawkish remarks from the Federal Reserve Chief. Fed Chair Jerome Powell doubled down on his hawkish tilt, stating in Congress on Wednesday that policymakers will discuss an earlier end to the central bank's stimulus in the next meeting. He also emphasized the need to be ready to respond to the possibility that inflation may not recede in the second half of next year, as most forecasters currently expect. His comments buoyed the dollar, further pressuring the bullion as a stronger dollar makes the yellow metal more expensive for buyers with other currencies. As you can see on the table, the gold price went down 4.41 or 0.25% to close at a price of 1,778 US dollars and 25 cents. This is updated as of 2:52 p.m. Philippine Standard Time. For crude oil, WTI crude futures stabilized above $66 per barrel on Thursday after dipping below $65 in the last 2 days amid expectations that OPEC Plus may pause supply increases on concerns the Omicron variant could weigh on the global economy and fuel demand. OPEC and its allies are set to decide on Thursday whether to release more oil into the market as previously planned or to restrain supply as crude prices crumbled on fears around the new variant and after major consumers released emergency reserves. Elsewhere, U.S. Deputy Energy Secretary David Turk said President Biden's administration could adjust the timing of its planned release of strategic crude oil stockpiles if global energy prices drop substantially. Meanwhile, official data showed U.S. crude stocks fell less than expected last week, while gasoline and distillate inventories rose more than expected on weakening demand. For gasoline, U.S. gasoline futures traded close to $2 per gallon, hovering around levels not seen since last April, amid ongoing fears about the impact of the new, possibly vaccine-resistant coronavirus Omicron variant, coupled with seasonal patterns in domestic demand. Moderna CEO said to the Financial Times that existing vaccines will not be effective enough to protect against the new variant because of the large number of mutations observed in the spike protein. The development of a new shot will likely take months before being distributed, he added. Fuel demand prospects deteriorated several European countries. Additionally, demand is usually lower during the winter months and traders were already expecting to see the seasonal trend form. For Brent rises ahead of OPEC Plus decision. Brent crude futures edged higher towards $70 per barrel on Thursday, aiming to recover from 3-month lows below $68 hit on Tuesday, amid expectations that OPEC Plus may pause supply increases on concerns the Omicron variant could weigh on the global economy and fuel demand. OPEC and its allies are set to decide on Thursday whether to release more oil into the market as previously planned or to restrain supply as crude prices crumbled on fears around the new variant and after major consumers released emergency reserves. Elsewhere, U.S. Deputy Energy Secretary David Turk said President Biden's administration could adjust the timing of its planned release of strategic crude oil stockpiles if global energy prices drop substantially. Meanwhile, official data showed U.S. crude stocks fell less than expected last week, while gasoline and distillate inventories rose more than expected amid weakening demand. These are the updates on stock market. In China, the Shanghai Composite and Shenzhen Component Indices each shed about 0.2% in early trade on Thursday as mainland stocks struggled for direction and remained minimally correlated to wild fluctuations among global peers. Global markets were on edge amid uncertainties surrounding the Omicron variant and its economic impacts, and on expectations of higher U.S. interest rates. Meanwhile, Chinese equities show divergences under the hood, with blue-chip companies, clean energy firms, and high-end manufacturers supporting the market, while technology and other heavily regulated industries lagged behind. Early market laggards include Guangzhou Science, negative 4% or 4% losses, Jollywood 7.4%, Changsa Dingjia 5.6% losses, SZ Zhongqingbao 7.2% losses, Beijing Tunisov 5.4% losses, and Call Digital with losses of 7.2%. In Japan, the Nikkei 225 index fell 0.65% to close at 27,753, while the broader Topix index shed 0.54% to 1,926 on Thursday as investors remained cautious amid concerns over the Omicron variant and a hawkish tilt by the U.S. Federal Reserve. The U.S. was the latest country to report its first case of the new variant, with other countries such as Japan reporting more cases as uncertainties mount on the magnitude of this wave and its economic impacts. Fed Chair Jerome Powell also doubled down on his hawkish pivot, stating that policymakers will discuss an earlier end to the central bank stimulus while acknowledging persistently high inflation. Richly valued Japanese technology firms tracked Wall Street peers lower, led by declines from SoftBank Group 5.1%, Lasertech Corporation 1.41%, Money Group 7.87%, Tayo Yuden 3.16%, and M3 Incorporated 2.45%. Travel-related stocks also declined, with losses from Japan Airlines 2.47%, East Japan Railway 3.47%, and ANA Holdings with 1.74% losses. And this is the table representing Japan Stock Market Index, where it fell down 182.25 or 0.65% to close at a price of 27,753 Japan yen. In Australia, the S&P or Australian Stock Exchange 200 index fell another 0.15% in choppy trade to close at 7,225 on Thursday as investors remain on edge amid concerns over the Omicron variant and expectations of higher U.S. interest rates. Australia's tally of people with the new variant increased on Thursday, prompting state governments to bolster domestic border controls as health experts wait to learn more about the dangers posed by the strain. Meanwhile, Australian shares edged lower as a mid-session rally by defensive pockets of the market was offset by heavy declines from technology stocks led by losses from Afterpay, 6.08%, and Zero, 5.11%. Energy firms and gold and lithium miners also declined, with substantial losses from Newcrest Mining, 2.42%, Pilbara Minerals, 2.31%, Orocobre Ltd, 5.87% losses, Liontown Resources, 16.15%, and Woodside Petroleum with losses of 1.86%. As you can see on the table, it represents the Australia Stock Market Index, where it fell down 10.7 or 0.15% to close at a price of 7,225. In US stock futures rose on Thursday after a sharp intraday reversal in the previous session as CDC confirmed the first Omicron case in the US. Dow Jones, S&P 500, and Nasdaq 100 features all edged higher by 0.5%. U.S. stocks have also been drifting from their morning highs on Wednesday after Fed Chairman Jerome Powell said that he expects policymakers to discuss the possibility of a faster taper schedule at the December meeting, while indicating he no longer considered inflation as transitory. The Nasdaq Composite Index led the market decline in an extremely volatile session, falling peak to trough by 3.62%, followed by the S&P 500, 3.07%, and Dow, negative 2.87% or losses of 2.85% averages. Consumer cyclical, communication services, and technology stocks were the biggest laggards. Analysts now see the market to likely remain driven by Omicron variant headlines until a clear assessment of its impact can be made, as well as by expectations of faster tapering and earlier rate hikes. As you can see on the table, it represents United States stock market index. Well, it fell down $461.68 or 1.34% to close at a price of 34,022 US dollars. In New Zealand, the NZX 50 index fell 0.42% to close at 12,670 on Thursday as concerns over the Omicron variant kept investors jittery. Expectations of higher U.S. interest rates amid hawkish remarks from Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell also weighed on sentiment. Meanwhile, New Zealanders are preparing for a planned move into a system of living with the COVID-19 virus starting on Friday despite the emergence of a new variant. The country has so far reported no cases of the Omicron variant but emphasized the need for caution at the borders. The biggest index losers include Vista with 3.42%, NZX with 2.78%, Skellerup with 2.3% losses, Ryman Healthcare with 1.96%, and Spark New Zealand with 1.78% losses. As you can see on the table, it represents the NZX 50 index, where it fell down 54.05 or 0.42% to close at a price of 12,670. In United Kingdom, FTSE 100 stock futures pointed lower on Thursday and were set to erase Wednesday's gains amid ongoing concerns about the Omicron variant of the coronavirus. The new strain continues to spread globally, with cases recently found in the US and also South Korea, while the UK has signed a deal with Pfizer and Moderna for 114 million vaccines. On corporate news, AI cybersecurity, Darktrace, and chemicals group Johnson Matthey are set to lose their spots in the FTSE 100 to be replaced by veterinary medicines maker Dechra Pharmaceuticals and industrial product supplier Electrocomponents. Here are the updates on balance of trade. In Australia, Australia's trade surplus edged down to 11.22 billion Australian dollars in October 2021 from a downwardly revised 11.82 billion Australian dollars in the previous month and compared with market consensus of 11 billion Australian dollars. It was the smallest trade surplus since May amid softening global demand as more countries battled with the resurgence of coronavirus infections. Exports fell 3% month over month to a 5-month low of 43.05 Australian dollars, 43.05 billion Australian dollars, and imports dropped at the same pace to their lowest in 6 months of 31.83 billion AUD. Considering the first 10 months of the year, the trade surplus surged to 107.20 billion Australian dollars from 59.88 billion Australian dollars in the same period of 2020. Here's the latest news in Wiki Forex. Bust of Money Mule network leads to 1,803 arrests. Authorities of 27 countries and other international organizations participated in the massive investigation. A joint investigation of multiple agencies against the international network of money mules has come to an end that results in 1,803 arrests and the identification of 18,351 money mules, Europol announced on Wednesday. These money mules were used to launder money extorted from a wide array of online scams like SIM swapping, man-in-the-middle attacks, e-commerce fraud, phishing, and forex scams. And here's a trivia. For successful traders, popular forex trading strategies. One of the most crucial components of currency trading is determining an effective forex trading strategy. In general, various sorts of traders have devised a variety of trading methods to assist you in making money in the market. Individual traders, on the other hand, must identify the finest forex trading strategy that fits their trading style and risk tolerance. Finally, there is no such thing as a one-size-fits-all solution. Traders should focus on decreasing lost deals and increasing winning trades in order to generate a profit. Any trading technique that gets you to this aim has the potential to be a winner. Before we go into the most common forex trading techniques, it's critical that we understand how to choose the ideal trading strategy. In this procedure, there are 3 primary components that should be taken into account: the time frame, the number of trading opportunities, and the trading size.